Hey guys, welcome back to MichowaCrochet. I'm Bree, and today we're going to do a little story time, kind of a cautionary tale, all the way from 2019. Well, let's get into it. Before we get started, I want to just put like a little disclaimer out there that this story is based on like true events that happened. And it may or may not be my story, but I'm going to tell it as if it is my story, so I'm not constantly saying things like, my friend did this, or they did that. I'm going to tell it as if it's my story. So, let's get right into the story. Picture it, it's 2019, The Mandalorian has come out, and everybody's got Baby Yoda fever. I mean, people are going crazy about Baby Yoda. You can't turn in the store without seeing Baby Yoda, like, on a t-shirt, or candy, or a pillowcase, or a rug, or, like, his face is on towels. It's on everything. Like, you see Baby Yoda everywhere. People are just going nuts. And I mean, the series was very popular, very successful. People loved it. And even if you didn't watch the series, like, Baby Yoda was just so stinking cute that everybody wanted, like, a little stuffy or, like, a little, like, action figure or something. People were going crazy. I mean, like, my own mother, like, was, like, really getting into the Baby Yoda stuff. I mean, I was, like, falling right into it. Because, I mean, most people will tell you, like, all babies are cute. But, I mean, Baby Yoda, especially cute. So, like, everybody's going crazy over Baby Yoda. And, like, I kept seeing, like, these patterns popping up. Everybody's making these tiny little, like, Baby Yoda stuffies and these big ones. And, I mean, there's all sorts of different versions. But there was one particular version of Baby Yoda that somebody had crocheted, and it was so good. It was so spot on. It had these great big eyes, great big ears. I mean, it was so perfectly spot on. And everybody was going crazy over this pattern called The Child by Crafty is Cool. And Crafty is Cool, like, if you've ever seen any of her work, I mean, it is so good. Like, the likeness that she is able to show, like, through crochet of, like, celebrities, like, oh my gosh, I mean, it's just so good. And I mean, I got swept up in it, and I wanted to make Baby Yoda too. And I mean, I had a bunch of people like messaging me saying, hey, you know, could you crochet this Baby Yoda for my kid or for me? Or, I mean, I got a bunch of like messages through Facebook and emails and stuff. There are people like asking me to make it. And, you know, like, I was considering it because, I mean, this was right before the holidays. Who could use a little extra money? And so I would, like, when I saw the Child pattern, that was, like, definitely, like, in my opinion, the best one out there. So I was like, I gotta get my hands on it. Well, when I went to go to buy it, like, at that point, the original designer had gotten, like, a cease and desist from Disney, and so they could no longer sell the pattern. So I was tough out of luck of buying the pattern, you know, easily, like I thought I was going to be able to. Well, I thought, you know, there's got to be an alternative or like something similar, or, you know, sometimes like when a designer puts out a pattern, like there's a paid version and there's a free version. I thought, well, you know, because at this time I didn't really understand anything about, you know, how any of that kind of stuff works. So I thought, well, maybe since they can't sell it, there's a free version. So I started, you know, searching through the internet, I'm Googling everything, and I ended up on this like weird side of the internet where people were selling like crochet patterns that were not theirs, but they had bought them fairly, you know, paid the designer, I'm assuming at least, that's what these people were saying, that they had bought the pattern and then, you know, they were just, you know, distributing it. And so I was like, well, you know, since this person got in trouble, the original designer, and they can't sell it, but this person, apparently they can sell it, you know, I guess, you know, I could get it from them. So, you know, I was like, why not? So I was a little nervous about it though, because it seemed like it could be a little scammy, because they're saying, oh, well, just to send it to me through, you know, Cash App or PayPal or, you know, whatever. And, you know, send me the money and then I'll email you the pattern. And I was like, well, I don't really know if that's a good idea. Like, because I could get scammed out of this. But I'm like, they're only asking $5. And then under like where the person was saying, hey, I have the pattern, if you want it, send $5 to this place. and I'll send it to you, there's a bunch of people who are thanking them, saying, you know, like, oh, I got my pattern like right away. It was instant. The second I sent the money to them, bam, it was in my inbox and I got it. The pattern's complete. It's, you know, and I was like, well, $5, I'm not going to be out that much. I'm only trying this once. Like, I'm not going to go ahead and like try this a bunch of times till I finally get the pattern. I don't want it that bad, but I'll give it a try once. So I, you know, sent the $5 or whatever it was. I can't remember how much it was, but I sent it off to them, and boom, instant in my inbox, here's the pattern. And I was like, so I download it and I look, it's the pattern. It's the complete pattern. Everything's there. You know, you can even see it's, you know, the original designer, like their logos on it. And I was like, cool, I got it, you know. And so then, you know, of course, like I run to Joann's to get the yarn and everything, and I can't get the yarn because it's sold out. Like all the colors I need, like the light brown, the dark brown, the green, it's all sold out. Like I can't get my hands on it. And I was like, well, I'll just wait, you know, they'll restock. And then, you know, like I started seeing all these things popping up about how, you know, going into more detail about why the designer couldn't sell the pattern, because, you know, this was Disney's intellectual property that, you know, and I didn't understand intellectual property. I didn't know what that was. And so then I'm like, you know, I kind of start getting into this, and I'm like, well, I don't understand what's intellectual property. And then I started understanding that intellectual property is like you own the idea of, you know, of a character. And I was like, okay, you know, as the deeper I get into it, and the slimier and slimier and ickier I felt about paying this person the $5 or whatever it was to get the pattern. Because it just, you know, I didn't understand at the time how wrong it was. Like, I thought, you know, it was, in my head, it was like, you know, buying a used book. You know, like when you go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book, you're paying full price. The authors, you know, they're getting their royalties or whatever. When I go to Goodwill, you know, I'm paying $1 for the same book. You know, I didn't understand that, you know, this is not like, you know, buying a book. That, you know, patterns, you know, these are small businesses. These are, you know, designers. Even if they're a big designer, they're still, you know, a small business in comparison to a lot of other things. And I didn't understand that at the time. And I didn't understand that, you know, that I wasn't, you know, giving back to the original designer, and I was taking away from them instead. And like now that, you know, I'm older, I'm more educated, I've been in the crochet community longer, like I understand things more. And like now I understand how wrong that was that I did that. And like, I feel really bad about that. And like, that's, you know, to me, that's why I call it the black market, because, you know, it's like the place you go to buy icky, slimy things. And I want to share the story because I don't want people to make that same mistake I did. Because like at the time, and I mean, it's not an excuse, like, but at the time I just didn't know. And I wish somebody would have told me so I wouldn't have made the mistake, because honestly, I've never even made that pattern. Never worked that pattern up. It sits there. It just, you know, it just sits on my phone where I downloaded it, but I never made it because I feel so icky about it. I mean, maybe one day, I don't know, maybe one day I would make it if I feel less icky about it. I definitely would not, you know, make it and be selling it, because I didn't know, like, and like since then, like I've learned other things about how, like, if you go to a craft show and you see, you know, you see people who are selling, you know, like a bluey hat, or, you know, like some, like a Rugrats doll or something, like that's not okay, because they don't own the rights to those characters. Like, I didn't know any of that. And so like since then, since learning all these things, I've definitely gone ahead and tried to make better choices and stuff. And I mean, I'm still going to make mistakes because nobody's perfect, but like, I'm just going to do my best to try and, you know, not take away from the original designers and the people that's their, you know, intellectual property. I'm just going to do my best. I probably will make mistakes again because I'm not an expert. I mean, what I'm telling you now, this is not legal advice. I'm sharing with you what I've learned, and how like I view things differently now, and I'm just a little tiny bit smarter than I was before. I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, take care.